This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and today, 10 news stories from the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, teeny bit of Monday in the range, but they didn't really get in there, that you deemed as conversational. So we'll talk about stories you want to talk about. These are stories that you, by your engagement, tell me you guys want to talk about them. So that's what we have up here. Some stories in dealing with Simone Biles, who's showing that she's not quite perfect. Also, Bronny James, who is far from perfect. And some love for Bill Clinton on a week that he's going to get some love from the Democratic National Convention. That's all happening in today's stories, plus more. We'll explain the vetting process, how these stories got to be a part of your world for the day in a bit. But I want to remind you that there are two things you can do, keep in your back of your mind right now. Our website, this is a conversation project.com. Well, that's where our home is, where all the stuff going on. And of course, email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com for all your comments, concerns, things going forward. We have a longer show for the day because it's Monday, so we have extra 2 stories going forward, and we have a little bit of extra mea culpa begging for in the calls to action, so you'll hear that coming forward. That's your warning that it's going to take a while to get to things you might ought to know. But stick around for that stuff. You'll want to love it as well. Today, as we said, is Monday, the 19th of August, 2024, and these are 10 stories you deemed as conversational, you deemed as pretty much good to talk about. No particular order as they're being presented, but we'll give you some context on which ones kind of got to where as we go along. This was a curious one, and I was curious to see how long it would last as a story that would be conversational. It lasted a full weekend. The headline for story number 1, Church of England dropping the church word to be more modern. Those are quotes. The word church, the word modern. The Church of England is reportedly moving towards dropping the word church from its official language in favor of more relevant and modern sounding terms like community. A whole lot of quotes in that little stretch. The change is part of an effort to modernize its image and appeal to a broader audience. The move has sparked debate, with some viewing it as a necessary evolution to stay connected with contemporary society. Others see it as a concerning shift away from traditional values. Many people believe the fact that you're going to church is to stick with traditional values, some a bit more traditional than others, some not really traditional values, but just sort of what the people in charge want to kind of lay on you. And some think the church needs a movement. Church needs some shaking up. The church itself is the problem, not the religion, but the church, not the folks, the people believe in something, but it's the people that run the place where you show up to believe in it, and they think the church is running. This may be a bit of a more drastic change being done by the full Church of England, who are going away from things like calling it church and calling it community, call it gatherings, instead of saying the church of, being a churchish. We'll see how this thing plays out. This one may not go as far as some people or worried will think. This one may kind of fizzle out and just go back to just being sort of churchish, because it's hard to not say church without thinking church, or be a church without thinking church. We'll see if this actually modernizes the Church of England and other church gatherings around the world. The biggest story for this week will be the Democratic National Convention. This is the party that is the matchup to the Republican one that was about 2 weeks ago. Now, here's a new poll coming out as the convention opens up this week. And the CBS poll coming out basically yesterday shows that gender gap, enthusiasm, economy make for a tight Harris-Trump race while the convention is basically opening up. The new poll from CBS News shows that the Kamala Harris and Donald Trump race to 2024 presidential election, the primaries are open. It's going to be a tight one, with Harris leading nationally just slightly, but it's going to be really, really key and come down to a handful of battleground states. Essentially 4 states will probably make this decision for us coming up in November. Poll shows that gender gaps, also enthusiasm levels, basically who wants to vote, and economic concerns are significant factors contributing to the competitive nature of the race. As the new convention continues, it basically opens today. I guess it kind of continues, going to open up today. Harris is gaining momentum, particularly among younger voters, black voters, and women voters, which may help her solidify her position as a leader in the election. Now, what's happening is that Harris is gaining, but not so much taking away from Trump, as in Trump is just sort of losing his own folks. Harris is gaining some of the independents, while Trump is having people that are committed to him going back to uncommitted status at the moment. So it's not so much that Harris is really taken away from Donald. It's just that the Don is really losing some pieces, and Harris is sort of picking here or there. We're going to see a lot of things going on in convention. We have a lot of news about that today, kind of ironically in this. But right now, we prep for 4 days of Democratic partying and lots of big speeches from lots of big people in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, Let's stop by for a little game there with the Chicago Bears. And this is not a dig at Jonathan Owens. This is not a Mr. Simone Biles dig. This is a dig at Simone herself. Simone Biles wears Packers jacket to cheer her husband at Bears game. Why is that a problem? The Olympic gymnast came to support her man, Jonathan Owens, a football player, at a Chicago Bears game. And she showed her support on the sidelines, doing her things. The picture has here, this is some downtime, so she's texting. She's probably taking some photos, some Instagram, stuff like that. But she's enjoying the game. She's having a good time. Here's the problem. If you can see the video, the jacket she's wearing has Green Bay logos on it, which was fine last season when he played for the Green Bay Packers. This season, he plays for the Bears. He just signed for the Bears. A pretty good contract. And he's going to make some big moves and hopefully have the Bears be in contention this year. But she's in Chicago wearing his old jacket. And that's a problem. Simone, we love you. We love you, but you got to do better than that. You got to do better than wearing the Packers gear when your boy moved on. He didn't get traded. He found a new contract. He signed a new deal with a new team. So you got to keep up with where he's going on. You can't wear the old jacket. You could have went to the concession stand. You could have got something somewhere. I'm sure someone would have sent you something with sparklies on it. It'll be taken care of coming forward, trust me, because you don't want Taylor Swift outshining you hanging out with the Chiefs if you're wearing the wrong gear for your wrong team. We just got to say that. Now, let's get on to story number 4 today. And this is kind of a sad one, but also good that they're taking care of an issue. This is going back to Banksy, and the London Zoo is actually taking down all the art, specifically the art right there that you see in the picture, the gorilla holding open the gate so that the animals can escape. Now, they want to preserve the art because it's art and keep people from damaging it. That's the story. Banksy's artwork is worth a bunch, even though when you try to sell it, he basically destroys it. That happens too. But the London Zoo wants to keep its bit of fame and bit of infamy by basically protecting the actual art piece, removing the gate that was painted on, and putting it there someplace where people can actually observe it at some point in time and get to love the actual message done by Banksy. I think it's a great theme, a great idea. You get the guy who's got art that does political messages and sort of speaks to fighting the power, fighting the establishment. Excuse me. And the establishment sticking around to support those messages, support that free speech, if you will, and just keep the art. Sorry about that. Oh, baby. They're back. Alien Romulus wins busy box office weekend, 41.5 million opening, 108 million globally. The new movie from Aliens franchise. It is the 4th movie, but it's technically the second. Happens between Alien, the original in 79, and Aliens from 86. Made a strong debut in its box office opening at $41 million, of course, as we said, 108.2 worldwide. It has exceeded expectations and contributed to great money for this summer's box office. Boom. Movies might not be back quite yet, but this summer shows that there's a good chance that a trend is happening. It's directed by Fede Alvarez and set between the two original movies, if you will, and an R rating and a beautiful, good-looking young cast, which brought in a lot of eyeballs to watch it this weekend. If you're not a big into the Aliens franchise, that means you got to go back and watch 1, then go watch this one. Then watch 2 because they happen in between, weirdly enough. And then the 4th one, which is the 3rd one, ironically enough. These prequels and time slides make things weird. The story behind it, alien life forms get in the ship, eat people, yada, 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 yada. It's classic. It's nasty. They're back. You love them. The aliens are rocking the box office. Rocking the house, although not exactly the way the buyer like him to. This headline for number 6 reads, person who bought Kevin Spacey's mansion for $3.24 million says the actor is refusing to leave. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Kevin Spacey is reportedly refusing to vacate his Baltimore mansion after it was sold at a foreclosure auction. The buyer says that he bought the property, but Spacey is demanding 6 months of free living before he moves out. He'll leave after 6 months, but no rent. Situation has led to a standoff between Spacey and the new owner with significant disputes over the property. Like we said, it was sold in a auction for foreclosure. Essentially, he wasn't paying the bill, so the bank pulled it back and decided to sell it to somebody else. Somebody else bought it. Nice looking house. Nice house in Baltimore. He can do little things. You'll patch it up. Make a little Murphy door for this room right here. Maybe put a safe room. Maybe, some sort of global enterprise evil lair. I don't know. What he wants to do is fine. It's his money. But it's not Kevin Spacey's house anymore, but Kevin Spacey won't leave. He won't leave any of us. This is a story that's been sort of festering for a bit. Headline for number 7, massive data breach that includes social security numbers may have been even worse than suspected. This was, the story is kind of hard to follow. Basically, a breach of security data by a hacking group called USDOD claimed to have stolen personal records for 2.9 billion people from the National Public Data System. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And with that, a lot of that data could be social security numbers in the process and other sensitive information that's out there. It's raised concerns over the security of personal data and has led discussions about implications of the effect on basic individuals. All these talk about the dark web, which isn't so much a place, but just sort of places, little websites that hold things. It's not actually a button for a dark web. But there's so many things going on in the background that we don't know about. Everybody gets hit with some sort of weird sort of text saying, hey, your packages, we can't deliver it. Can you send us some information so we can figure it out? All the time, things like that. My wife once, her card somehow got lifted, and someone in Arizona bought a bunch of iPads. Just all of a sudden, it was a random thing I looked for on a Saturday morning while I was preparing for doing a podcast, where I saw some weird activity on our bank account to find out that someone had hacked our cards and spent the Saturday not working on a podcast, but trying to get our money back, or at least get those iPads, because they might have been nifty. This is interesting and scary at the same time. We know that all our information is all digital and everything is done magically via pressing buttons these days. It makes things easier, convenient, and actually gets more things done. The problem is it's easier and convenient and more things get stolen in the process. Bear with me for story number 8, because we're going to get into a bit of political, sort of economical commentary, but the main story is the main story. Carl Urban plays free pop-up concert outside Buc-ee store in Alabama. I did it. I did it again. Keith Urban, the guy who's married to Nicole Kidman, not Carl Urban, the guy from The Boys, not that guy. They both have accents, but not that guy. Keith Urban surprised fans, because he's a country star, not Carl, by performing a free pop-up concert outside a Buc-ee store in Alabama. The concert took place in the parking lot of the popular convenience store at the gas station. Urban given only a few hours of notice before doing the show. The spontaneous event drew the crowd, and Urban shared the idea to perform there after he visited the store and thought, you know what? It'd be kind of cool to put out my guitar, stand in the parking lot, and sing for these folks in Alabama. And he did. So hopefully the folks got a good show, apparently, from this thing. Hopefully the locals got, little extra cash into their pockets. The police, which I think that's a policeman behind him in the picture with the button on top, got a little extra overtime, some deserved overtime, got paid for the stuff. But here's the deal. Buc-ee's is a phenomenon that's growing across the nation, but it's also bringing with it some issues. My adopted hometown of Ruston, Louisiana is getting a Buc-ee's fairly soon, and people there are sort of geeked. And then some people are like, but I like going to the grocery store down the street, or I like this convenience store, this gas station over here. It's going to take it away because it does that. Buc-ee's is starting to get some of the backlash of the Walmart effect, and Walmart effect was kind of a two deal. The first deal was back 20, 30 years ago when Walmarts were going everywhere and essentially pushing out mom and pops and smaller stores because the prices were so low. And not a Walmart effect now is where they're going bigger for super centers, and they're leaving their other purchase, leaving blight in areas or a propagation of dollar stores, Dollar Generals, Dollar Trees, Family Dollars in their places. The Walmart effect is coming in and making these big super convenience store gas stations into, now they're attractions, which makes the smaller gas stations, smaller convenience stores, and some of the mom and pops, and bodegas, things like that, that basically are held by people who are family folks who run it as a family, have issues. A little bit of economic commentary there, but essentially this is a story about Keith Urban, not Carl, singing country songs outside of Buc-ee's in Alabama. Can't get more country than that. I guess you could bring up Waylon Jennings, but I guess it's hard to get him out of Buc-ee's these days. Let's go to the story at number 9. This was one that I read the headline and I scratched my head, and I read the headline again and I scratched my head. Then I read the story and then I understood it, but still scratched my head. The headline reads, Chechen Warlord invites Musk to Russia after he's filmed driving machine gun mounted Cybertruck. And it's more or less in the grammar because he is the Chechen Warlord, not Elon Musk. So I was thinking, when was Musk driving around on a Cybertruck with a Gatling gun on top of it? Here's from the robot editor how he portrayed it. Chechen leader Razman Kazarov recently made headlines after being filmed driving a Cybertruck equipped with a machine gun. Following this, Kadyrov, saying it properly, extended an invitation to Tesla CEO Elon Musk to visit Russia. The event has drawn significant attention both for the unique use of the Cybertruck and implications of such an invitation from a controversial figure like Kadyrov, which hopefully the third time's a charm. So I won't say it a fourth. Here's the deal. Who's actually driving a Cybertruck into battle? I mean, I know it's supposed to be rugged. I know the battery's supposed to be great. I know there's a whole bunch of things for that. But we've seen already, a 2x4 with just, a little flick of the wrist go through the windshield. We know issues about cold and how electric vehicles don't like cold. And so it doesn't make all terrain all that terrain-ish. And why did he mount a machine gun to the Cybertruck in the first place other than he thought it looked cool? If you're looking at the video and you see the picture, this is it. And after showing the video and just being sort of, badass for badass sake, I guess, he wants to roll with Elon Musk. If Elon Musk is not actually working for the Democrats and it really is the troll he is, maybe he'll take up on this. Maybe he'll throw some tweets out for it, say, hey, and talk in his weird staccato voice, which I shouldn't mock because, he is autistic and all that stuff. So there's that. But he's also Elon Musk. And so there's that. Is this joining grouping going to come to fruition? Will he have the Russian Chechen leader on his X platform with bad ratings? I guess we'll only know. I guess we'll find out when we find out. And finally, it is time. Well, it's almost time. So NCAA came out with his new college football edition. People are eating that up right now. And of course, Madden's time is out as well because college football and professional football. But looks like the time is here as we hit the ratings early on for NBA 2K5, which tells us, as this headline says, the ratings say everything about the draft class of 2025, how great or not so great they are, and showing Bronny James's fate in pixels. His rating, 68. It's the lowest end of the spectrum for all the rookies this year's class. Now, this is kind of the greater thing and the not so greater thing. Last year's rookie of the year, last year's number one rookie was Victor Wembanyama, who almost won a gold medal for France a few weeks ago. So he's good. He's showing lots of life and lots of love in San Antonio like big men do, which is awesome. He got an 83 rating. Now, it's not a 83 out of 100 percentage. It's based on numbers and pixels and things like that. So it's not so much 83. And 83 is 83% better than everybody else, but it's a score. At 68, Bronny James wasn't expected to do very much at all, but being under 70 is not a great show for a player to have on the team. Now, he's going to play a lot of time in the G League in the next coming season and may get some looks on the main roster. If they go playoffs, they may bring him up there to see what's going to happen so that we can have LeBron and Bronny on the same court at the same time to make some history. But first, the kid's got to get good. And the developers of not EA Sports, this is not EA Sports. EA Sports gave up on the franchise. It's the developer of the 2K franchise. They see that Bronny needs a lot of work as well. Let's talk a tease. The teaser story for the day. It's a story I've been waiting to talk about for a while. Now, we're going to tease a story about the superstars that are going to be at the convention for this week. There are some headliners. Each night's going to be headlined by a big star. That story is coming out. I'm not going to spoil that for you. So when that story pops up, you can engage in that one as well. But we're teasing this one because everybody's waiting to see Jake Paul get punched in the face by Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson says he feels good after his health scare and is ready to reschedule his bout with Jake Paul, air quotes, to punch him in the face. He didn't really say punch him in the face, but That's kind of the point. Mike Tyson's feeling much better and ready to get this show back on the road with the fight against Jake Paul. Do you want to talk about this story in ad nauseum, go deeper in detail on what's going to happen? You just engage in the story and tell us it's a good one to talk about. This is how we get stories into the feed, or this is how stories into our shows via our feeds. These are our links on Facebook and X. X.com/th_conversation, Facebook.com/thisisconversationproject. All you need to do is all you need to do any day anyway. All you do any other day. Go to your feeds on Facebook and X. Facebook and X. Facebook and X. Check out your other people stuff, what's going on Facebook and X. Facebook and X. Facebook and X. And see what we have going on. Like, love, hate, share, engage in the stories. The more you click on it, the more you look at it, the more you engage in the story, the better chance we have of talking about the stories. The stories we have today were some of the top stories from the weekend, some of the top 30 stories, essentially in pure engagement by, literally who clicked on the most over the weekend, and we chatted them up for you here, 10 of them right there. Tomorrow and the rest of the week, there'll be eight of the top 15 or so stories to give to you every single weekday morning, or at least Tuesday through Friday weekday mornings, to get your day started and kind of get the chat conversation going. Get the conversation and the chatter going. So are we chatting up Mike Tyson? Are we chatting up all the star power of the DNC? Oh, tonight is the night that Biden speaks. So we'll have some stuff on that as well. Also Jill as well. We'll see how that works out going forward. What football season unswing? It is time to bring out the love for YouTube TV. And guess what? Using our affiliate link, you're going to get $45 off. Yeah, $45 off YouTube TV. You get $15 extra off your free, and it's already from free trial subscription. So from $30 to $45 because you used our link for your free trial. In something, it makes sense. The math adds up. Let me read it properly. $15 off your subscription. That's a free trial, and $10 off each month for 3 months. That's $45 off your YouTube subscription, YouTube TV subscription going forward. Let me stop talking about the subscription and talk about what you get from YouTube TV. As you see in the picture of these folks watching a game of some sort of sports ball going on and cheering on or jeering the crowd and folks out there, YouTube TV is the best place to watch sports. It's the best place to watch TV, watch movies. It is becoming cable, which is the sad part about it. But it's the best place to get live TV. A lot of great channels that are great for you. 100 plus live TV channels. No contracts. You can jump out anytime. No hidden fees. You see the fees that you're paying for it. If you want to get Sunday ticket, you see how much it costs. You want to get the Horde package, it's what it costs. The news package, the HBO Max package, you see it up front, you pay it directly, and that's what you pay. There are no hidden fees. It's right up there. And I'm going to give you $45 off the top. Use our link, our affiliate link. Coughing fits all over on this Monday. Excuse me. This is a conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is a conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. If you haven't cut the cord yet, now's the time to think about it. If you're using some other streaming service and they're not taking care of you, now's the time to look to this one. This will be the last one you need. YouTube TV is a service I've been using for many years. We've been going through all the ups and downs and the tops and turns and things going on. It gives you 6 different accounts. So basically, everyone in the house has an account, and I have an account and a spare one. I have 2 for me, the company stuff, and the me stuff, and a spare. It works out great. So if somebody comes over and he wants to watch some strange stuff, they can use a spare. They don't get in anybody else's DVR, they don't get anybody else's stuff. This is going really longer than I thought it was. But hey, it's worth it. Trust me. The length is worth it. The rambling is worth it. All the sort of just words that have been saladed out in this ad are worth it. Check it out. It's worth $45 off for YouTube TV. Go to our link. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV for all details. Less word salad. We're going to quicken this up because we're going actually pretty good on time, believe it or not. But the Conversation Project lives online at thisisconversationproject.com. We have a lot of extra calls to action, so here's where we are. We are literally about 50 watch hours away from getting that 3,000 watch hours and seeing if we can get monetized. Now, this account in the past has had some issues and it basically got banned from AdSense about 15 years ago for some sort of weirdness. That's not the problem we're talking about. Right now, we're talking about re-upping for YouTube for this channel here. So you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure you get some friends involved so you can watch more of our stuff. We're about 50 hours, literally 50 hours away from hitting that 3,000. And then we can see if they're going to let us open for any sort of AdSense, any sort of the payment stuff, which is a milestone for what's going on here. Hitting 1,000 in February, 1,000 subscribers in February, and getting all the actual views going forward. It's been wonderful, but we need your help for this one. We need your help as a partner. Go to our website, click on the partnerships page, and consider being a partner and help us get things done. We are. Let me break this down and be really real, be emotional right now. I personally and the family and some of the folks that work on this stuff have dealt with a lot of issues in this past 3 years, stretch 3 years, even going further back to the COVID time where it basically set things up for when the things happened, tornado and things happened in the last year or so, we're already in a bad shape. So this is a conversational project. This is a project. This is a labor that has kept me relatively sane, and that's relative, if you will, and give me something to look forward and go get up for and do something. Literally has been the things that got me out of bed some days when I hadn't felt like getting out of bed. So the fact that you've given us the appreciation, given us comments, you're watching and listening, that is great. Help me hit this milestone. Help me hit this thing. Help me get this thing. And well, the chances are we won't even it'll realize that, it's been demonetized before and it won't let me in. So that's there. But we got to get a shot. Getting 3,000 watch hours in the span of 365 days is a milestone that we want to see done. We're literally 50 hours away. Now, it's actually about 4 or 5 days delayed. So maybe we hit it. Maybe we hadn't. We had a nice big lull a couple of months ago because for our Operation Chaos, moving stuff around, not being able to do active stuff. And so we were hoping to get there. And then some issues got in the way that had another couple lulls of things. So we should have gotten there, but we didn't get a chance. Help me get that chance to hit that number, hit that milestone. We're hoping we can get that so we can see if we can go moving forward with the thing here. Also, make sure you are following us in the feeds and engaging with us by emailing us at conversationinbox@gmail.com. The free stuff, if you will. The free stuff allows us to have a show because with your engagement in the feeds, we know what stories to cover. And now, we've done the begging. And yes, we call it begging. We did the business. We got you some news. Let's have some fun. Let's bring in this guy. This guy. Big guy's coming in. Bill Clinton coming in this week for a big part of the convention in the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. But today, it's his birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Go, boy. It's your birthday. Bill Clinton, who's 78 years old on the day. I live in Arkansas, and when I got here, I voted for Clinton back in the day, but I hadn't quite lived here. And when I got here, I found about all the love, all the admiration, and all the sort of seemingly just sort of bad feelings about Bill Clinton. There's a lot of them hanging out behind the scenes. Bill Clinton is a lightning rod of a person. He's definitely a character. History and historians call him one of the greater presidents, not one of the greater presidents. But of course, the Lewinsky thing, a whole lot of stuff. The boy genius who became president and then almost squandered it all away. Bill Clinton is 78 years old on this day. But there was just also to a Uncle Jesse, not the Uncle Jesse, but a Uncle Jesse, John Stamos, who's 61 years old today. Not just Uncle Jesse, many other great things, including back in the day, Blackie from General Hospital is 61. And Kira Sidgwick, wife to her husband, that's who she is, Kevin Bacon, is 59 years old on the day. Let's move on to our history lessons for this morning. 19th of August shows us a couple things. 3 that we're hitting on includes in 2004, the internet search engine Google went public. This is the day that Google went on the scene as an actual company. It was extremely cheap back then. If you held it back in 2004, 20 years ago, 20 years from now, 20 years prior, man, you'd be rich. In 2020, Apple became the first U.S. company to be valuated at $2 trillion. Just 2 years after it reached its $1 trillion valuation. Now, what you see is the doubling effect. Doesn't take long to get past that next step once you double it. Hopefully that'll work for our growth going forward. But Apple went to $2 trillion about 2 years after it reached $1 trillion in 2020. And in 2022, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck wed yet again. 1 month after their surprise Las Vegas nuptials, the couple held a full weekend bash at the actor's estate in Riceboro, Georgia. And right now, 2 years later, apparently they're getting a divorce. Stories are great, but stories don't work without words. And we like to share you some big words you can use for yourself and in your stories. Today's word of the day, you can find more words like this at thebigwordsproject.com, is squeamish. It means easily disturbed or disgusted by unpleasant things. And be used in a sentence. My friend is so squeamish that she can't even watch a movie with a simple surgery scene without being faint. Squeamish, being sort of squeaky when things are happening. Really, really, really not one to see it. Being disturbed and disgusted. That is your word for the day. As we said, go to our website, the Big Words Project, for more big words to learn. Our affirmation for the day, which is apropos for today, as my reading today is not filled with abundance, but my life is filled with joy and abundance. This affirmation reduces negative thoughts. By repeating the affirmation, my life is filled with joy and abundance, this can significantly reduce negative thoughts by shifting focus towards the positive aspects of your life and promoting a more optimistic outlook towards things. More on your affirmations, more on that state by going to Amazon. Search 100 affirmations pain, or click the link that's in this presentation for 100 daily affirmations for positivity and confidence, my book on affirmations. And you're free to remix them as you need to, because it's really about the affirmation that's good for you. This is more of a menu, a blueprint, a sort of idea thing, but you're supposed to sort of put it together as you need to. Finally, let's hail on this day of celebration the potato on Potato Day. It is Potato Day. Potatoes have been a popular food for centuries, and it's about time we put some recognition on it. Put some respect on the name of the versatile and appealing favorite. Yes, I read this beforehand, and there's plenty of those coming more. Mashed, smashed, chipped, or covered in cheese, potatoes can be eaten with just about every meal, or as a meal, making these starchy veggies a delicious and easy way to get iron, potassium, and vitamin C. The puns are just baked right in. Now just fry and stop us from telling you the whole scoop on what makes National Potato Day so, pause for effect, spectacular. I actually did read ahead of this one because it just looked like it was just setting me up for something. And yes, we went with Potato Day, puns included. We also threw in the extras. So if you want to not do Potato Day, and it's still kind of hot, although today's going to be a little cooler here in Arkansas apparently, it's Sandcastle and Sculpture Day. If you're near a beach, find some sand, make a sandcastle, have some fun. Or get some soft ice cream, good any time of the day, any time of the year for soft ice cream day. There's that. We're done. It is things you might not have heard and things you might ought to know for this day, this 19th of August, 2024. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. I thank you so much for being with us for the show today. Despite the ramblings, despite the craziness, it's been a long week. It was actually a very long weekend and a very long night last night. So I'm a little bit tired. Got up a little extra early, make sure things got covered. And then my mouth apparently didn't wake up with everybody else. So it is what it is. Thank you so much for joining us for the show. Consider being a partner. Consider going to our sponsors. Consider sharing us with some friends so that they can help us get those watch hours so we can get a chance to maybe get monetization. That's what we're shooting for. We thank you so much for all the love you give us. Yes, I love you all immensely. Even when the days aren't so great, remember, life is great, because your day may not be seen like it goes so well, but the alternative, not so good. So life is great, even if your world, your life, your living doesn't seem so great at the moment. Let's do this again tomorrow. Let's wrap this thing up and prepare for another great day, another great week. It's going to be a tiresome week because I'll be up watching these convention speeches, because news junkie, news nerd, this is what's going on. But I want to see what's going on. Remember, we have an all-star cast of hosts today. Check out that when it pops up in your feeds and engage in that one. Let us know what you think about that one. And let's talk about some Biden speeches tonight. Clinton speaking on Tuesday, I think. Maybe Wednesday. I think Clinton speaking Tuesday. Obama speaking Wednesday. Hillary Clinton speaking Wednesday. Michelle speaking Tuesday. All the presidents and the exes and the ex-ladies are up in this thing. Tim Walz speaks on Wednesday, of course. it's going to be hilarious. We'll see if Kamala can do just as bad as Donald Trump by ruining all the love. Probably sure she won't. But we'll see how good I can do for the rest of the week with my news stories. We'll see you tomorrow.